Hey everyone, David here. I am so excited to tell you that our friends with the Mixed Reviews podcast are being recognized as an eligible nominee for the Podcast Awards. But we need your help. This July, you can nominate the Mixed Reviews for consideration in the film and TV category. It only takes a few seconds, I promise. Navigate over to podcastawards.com and nominate the Mixed Reviews in the film and TV category. Nominations can be done through July 31st, so head on over today to podcastawards.com to help recognize Louie and Gavin for their exceptional work with the Mixed Reviews.
We're in a parallel universe.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I'm so grateful that if I have to be in a parallel universe, that you're here with me.
Oh, that's fine.
Of course, you probably wish you were with someone who actually wanted to date. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Even in a parallel universe, she never stops. But I mean, we could also be asleep, right? Or dead. Ow.
You're awake. As for being dead, I'm guessing if we were, there would be some kind of white light situation. Maybe a guy with a beard. Process of elimination, parallel universe.
How do you know this?
Oh, 10th grade, I had a little sci-fi phase. Alt universes are huge. Clearly, you and I have entered a world where we don't exist. But don't despair, I know the way back to the real world.
Yeah? Does that involve me dating you?
Well, well, look who's funny in alt world.
Welcome to Gimmicks, a podcast about the high-concept, experimental, structure-breaking gimmick episodes of TV, from musicals to bottle episodes to a kind of homage to It's a Wonderful Life, but we'll talk about it. I'm David Arnold.
Welcome to the OC, bitch. I'm Derek B. Gale.
Derek, I love this so much.
And who is with us today?
Oh, that's me. It's Marissa Cooper. No. Hi, everyone.
Oh my
It's
God.
Louie Rendon of the Mixed Reviews. Thanks for having me, boys.
Yeah.
Louis, I did see your heels through the gate of an airport and thought, oh my God, there it is, Marissa Cooper.
But no,
But no.
no Marissa Cooper to be seen today.
What if, like, the reveal of me is, like, what you say? Let you, I don't know how many OC people, like, really know. I mean, if you know, you know, okay?
Yeah. Oh,
And-
yes. We will
Man,
have a conversation about that, I think.
We're going to get into it because this episode we're talking about the Chrismukk-Huh from the teen drama The OC.
What a line read. What a reading of that
Well,
title.
listen, I did the best one I could.
Oh
honestly.
my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay, we'll get into it. If you're not familiar with the OC, this is a very popular series on the Fox network. Are centered on troubled teen Ryan Atwood, who's played by Ben McKenzie, who has been adopted into a wealthy home by Sandy and Christy Cohen. Ryan and his adopted brother Seth, who's Adam Brody, deal with life as outsiders in the high-class world of Newport Beach and the titular OC, Orange County. Premiered in August of 2003 to very, very high ratings and like critical acclaim at the time. That kind of steadily went downhill, unfortunately, in the eyes of most audiences, and ran for ultimately running for 4 seasons and 92 episodes.
Louis, what's your experience with this show?
Oh, my God. I was desperate to be a hot white when I was a teen. I thought Ryan and Seth were so hot. So all that to say, I was watching as a youth. I don't know how old I was. Maybe in high school. Maybe, yeah, I think around there. I think high school into college, I was watching. My little sister did, in fact, buy. There was like an enormous box set that you can buy of all the episodes. That is still at our home. During the pandemic, I rewatched all of it again. I think the show is so fucking silly, except when it wants to be like very serious and say something meaningful. But then like there's episodes like this where it's like, you guys are so fucking unserious. Like, give me a break.
Mm-hmm.
It's
So
Yeah.
much, Louis, so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that's so fascinating, I think, about the show is that, like, it's for as much as I think it in pop culture has been, I think, remembered as like a one of the quintessential pretty white kids with problems shows. I mean, at the time, I think what was talked about was like, wow, the show is like really self-aware. And it's kind of like what Scream was to horror movies. Like this show kind of was to teen, like pretty rich white kid teen dramas in a way where it would kind of poke fun at itself and would have, Adam Brody's character like remarking on like how this parallels something from a TV show and stuff like that. Which, in like 2003, like obviously like we're all used to that to an annoying amount now, I think. But in 2003, that was still pretty interesting to see on something that was technically just marketed as a teen soap,
Yeah, I think it was a lot smarter than like I think people remember it for. Also, like I think
Yeah.
I don't know that anyone on the show is like an amazing actor, but there was some like but there was some really tight writing. It also just like spoke to I think that like middle millennial generation of like the music. Like there was so much like culture around this music, the way people acted and look. I remember wanting to be like as disaffected as Seth, and like his whole story of pining for Summer, finally getting her in the end. Yeah, there was a lot there.
Yeah, creator John Schwartz is credited with like making emo happen for this generation of millennials.
Yeah.
Josh
Josh
Schwartz. Yeah.
Josh Schwartz. Sorry. Josh Schwartz. Yeah. I was mind blown to read that.
Death
even
Cab.
though I like flirted with
Seth,
him though. Yeah.
Seth was obsessed with Death Cab, and like the Killers famously were on an episode. Not that Killers are emo, but like that kind of millennial emo rock genre. Yes. I mean, even the opening song, California.
Oh my gosh.
What an earworm, honest, truly. That's like that Phantom Planet song. It's one of those things where you'll hear like one second of it, and then it's stuck in your head for like 3 weeks after that. Like it's impossible.
Well, see, you both say that, except I watched it and I was like, oh, this has been replaced for streaming. And I was like, no big deal. That happens all the time. And then as I'm doing all the notes and stuff, I go, oh, no, wait, this was the original. And somehow I forgot this.
No, I took that note down too. I was like, what is this acoustic ass opening of the theme?
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was because there was like the Chrismukk-Huh special episode. I didn't know if it was like, I mean, the banger that we all know. Or maybe it was like season 4 change type thing. I don't know.
It didn't say it was anything different, but I watched the pilot and didn't notice a change either. So either we got something different for streaming, I blocked it out of my mind, but I truly not. Derek, did you watch like a DVD or something? Do you have a different?
I watched
experience?
it on Hulu, and it was you're right. When you're talking about this episode has the weird acoustic version of the song, and I was looking at like YouTube compilations of OC openings from all seasons, and the one that they had for season 4 did have the original version of the theme song.
Okay.
So this seems like it was maybe just a weird one-off thing that they maybe did for this one or a couple episodes this season.
Yeah, because we're like in a dream or something. But Derek, what was your experience with the OC? Did you watch this when it was on?
Not regularly. I think the thing about the OC is that like if you were watching Fox, it was really inescapable, and so I wasn't necessarily following it, but I would like catch episodes if it was coming on before something else that I would be watching on it, because I was watching everything on Fox and in this era anyway. And also like it was so heavily advertised that like I still knew all the characters' names, what was going on. And I'm like, oh, Marissa's dying in this episode. That's interesting. Like you'd still know that shit even if you weren't watching regularly. So I didn't really like keep up with it, but I knew plenty about it. And so it wasn't like weird. Like I watched, I rewatched the pilot for this and this episode, and it was like, I still felt very familiar with the sort of tone of the show and the characters, just from like osmosis, I guess. But it did make me think about like, this show was so burn bright, but burn fast because it was so hyped at the time. And it was, again, so heavily advertised and was so talked about. And yet, but it only ran for 4 seasons, which is like, these seasons are fucking long as hell. So it's still like a good amount of episodes, but it's not super long, for TV at that time. And I do think it's interesting now that I feel like I don't feel like it's talked about as much proportionally to how big it was at the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like I feel like when of the oeuvre of pretty white kids with problems TV shows that exists, like you talk about like One Tree Hill and like Veronica Mars and stuff, like those are always in the conversation. You don't really hear this show talked about as much, weirdly, unless someone is specifically being like out to talk about this show specifically, and I just find that sort of interesting and surprising.
I almost feel like Josh Schwartz's next show, Gossip Girl, gets talked about way more and like the impact it had. And that show was also very big, but I think, this show they just burned through so many storylines in like half a season.
Yeah.
I remember when I rewatched it, I was like, oh my god, we're already in Tijuana. We're already talking about drug overdoses. I was like, where the fuck are we supposed to go? And so they just had to keep like
Yeah.
building off of each other over like now there's like a shooter, now there's like there was just a lot of story that they were like, oh, I mean, you could tell by season 4
Yeah.
and this episode specifically, they're like, what if we do this like crazy dream episode? Because Chrismukk-Huh was a great idea. The original episode is so fun. And they just kind of had to like keep going to the well, right? Like, oh, it's Chrismukk-Huh, something, who knows what can happen.
Yeah. I mean, and even this episode, like I feel like most of its references are back to the first season anyway.
Yeah.
Like it either references it or it's like, what if our characters were kind of more like their first season versions in some cases. So like the first season I do think is like, that's what everyone who remembers the OC remembers the first season. Fewer people remember everything that came after it, except for like the stuff that they really didn't like or was parodied heavily,
Yeah. It's wild that you say that people remember One Tree Hill better than this, because in my mind, these two shows hold the same exact real estate in my mind. I can't,
Sure.
I almost have trouble like parsing what I remember of One Tree Hill and what I remember parsing of the OC apart from each other. And I can't, but like you say fair, but I like now that I'm saying it out loud, it doesn't make sense why, because they were different. They were very different shows.
Yeah, but they were on around the same time. And I feel like there is a direct line between Chad Michael Murray and Ben McKenzie, like they're kind of
That's
a similar energy. I think.
That's fair.
I would choose Ben McKenzie over anyone any day. That I literally, the first note I wrote while I'm watching this episode was, Ben McKenzie is hot and a good guy. He was writing a lot about how AI and crypto is like fucking bad for the earth and like is fake. He was calling out other actors for like shilling out for crypto, and I was like, Ben McKenzie, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, fuck yeah, Ben McKenzie. I didn't know that. That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Step up, Chad Michael Murray.
Well, counterpoint, Chad Michael Murray was on Riverdale playing an Evel Knievel cult leader parody who harvested organs. So like
kinda
he
awesome.
does have that
awesome.
point in his
right.
I will say.
It's a give and take.
Yeah. What about you, David? Did you watch this at the time?
I know that I saw episodes when it was on live, and I was talking to Louie before we all got on that there were things that I know that I remembered, but then watching this episode that we're here to talk about here in deep center season 4, I almost had to like just keep the Wikipedia page open as I watched the episode, because I forgot who is Marissa's sister? Why are we focusing on these people? Why do they hate Riverside so much? Like there was just so many questions that I had that had no answers.
Yeah, I mean, going back and reading through some like middle season stuff between the pilot and this episode, it's like there's a lot of characters that I never knew existed and actors that were on this show that I didn't realize had happened.
I was just thinking that. I was just thinking like also the impact. There were so many. I mean, we're gonna get to the Chris Pratt of it all. Like hello, but like Olivia Wilde was a famously bisexual chaos agent in this, and that was kind of like a big deal. I remember at the time there was no one who was like it was very tropey, playing off, but like there was a lot of hot young teens, in air quotes, on the show that came out to be pretty successful.
Yeah, even if they didn't achieve huge success, so many of them were on ended up on CW shows like after this.
Also, I forgot Marissa's sister was originally played by Shailene Woodley.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's wild. Yeah.
And they replaced,
that also helps.
They replaced
I was
her.
like, who is this?
Yeah.
Wow. I was having a real DJ moment then. That's what it was.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. Yeah. I think she's only on for a handful of episodes, but I think I was reading about it because I knew Willa Holland from Arrow when she was on that, also playing a teenager 8 years later.
Right.
But she only came on and played that role because Shailene Woodley apparently hadn't quote unquote matured enough to play, your sexy 14-year-old, I guess.
Right. But also
so that's why they recast her.
But then also they made her a more series regular when Marissa died, and they were like, we need some more energy for someone to hang out with Julie. And give more drama there.
Makes sense. I do like her in this episode. I think it's a nice, she's definitely a counter energy to what Marissa was, for sure.
This episode is just mostly they're having to tie up, Marissa's gone and we need to accept Taylor as, this kind of replacement love interest. We as a community have to move on. We are all going to remember her fondly, but we're going to be okay. and like let's make this last push to the end of the series.
Sure.
Well, speaking of Marissa, is it time, Derek, for you and I to talk about Misha Barton?
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing that's really funny. As I was thinking about this, I have for my whole life confused Misha Barton and Rachel Bilson. Not them as people, because they're very not alike, but their names specifically, because in my head, I have always felt like Rachel Bilson looks like she should be named Misha Barton, and Misha Barton looks like she should be named Rachel Bilson. And I don't really know like what that means or why that is, but that has always stuck with me. Because even when I've seen Rachel Bilson, like she had like a guest run on like Chuck, which was another Josh Schwartz show that I did watch all of, and even then, I still would always call her Misha Barton in her guest run on Chuck, even though she was never on that show.
But I think Misha Barton looks very like kind of Slavic. You know, she looks like a Misha.
Yes.
She could be like a Russian
That's fair.
assassin.
That is fair.
She's got that face. So to me,
That's fair.
Okay, I just remembered that I did buy my sister a cameo from Misha Barton for her bachelorette party.
What?
I know. I just
Wow.
remembered in this moment. I asked her if
That's
she had.
amazing.
I asked her. It was for my sister's bachelorette party, and I asked if she had any tips for like a long marriage or whatever. And she was like, "LOL, absolutely not."
What a gift. What a
Amazing.
true gift. Wow.
Yeah.
Best brother ever.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that confusion led me to calling Rachel Bilson Misha Barton in that How I Met Your Mother episode. But I think people can understand. Like, I meant one of the OC girls. Like, you
Yeah.
can figure it out.
Yeah. Hey, no one wrote into us. Nobody has said anything.
Yeah.
I was just watching this being like, oh my God, cool. Misha Barton's here. And then I typed in like Misha Barton, the OC. Who is this character? Because again, I can't remember who anyone is.
Yeah.
And they were like, she's Marissa. And I was like, she's dead?
Yeah.
Why aren't they talking to her? I was
That's
lost.
so funny. That's so funny.
In my notes, I was
Because
like,
I totally bought it, Derek.
Marissa's alive, and then I said, "Whoops, JK, she's dead." Okay. Oh
Yeah.
JK. She died earlier. Wow, it was the worst.
no, later.
Yeah.
Later, that's right. That's right. Because
Mhm.
Ryan was there. But we'll get to that because we're talking season 4, episode 7, The Chrismukk-Huh?
Fox Thursday. What in the OC is going on?
It's Chrismukk-Huh.
Find out what the OC would be like if Ryan never showed up.
In this world, Marissa's alive.
An all-new OC.
Thursday at 8 on Fox 13.
Original air date on this was December 14th, 2006. The synopsis per IMDb: in a parallel universe, Sandy is married to Julie, Kirsten is Mrs. Jimmy Cooper, Summer is engaged to Chess, and Seth is in full geek mode. And Ryan and Taylor are stuck there after a fall and must change it.
Did they call Che Chess in that synopsis?
Chess for
Oh,
Chester, I guess.
It's because his name's Chester, I think, and then
Yeah.
But in the episode,
Yeah.
they call him Che.
well,
But the IMDb put Chess.
But then he goes by Chester, I think,
Yeah.
as his like rich persona in the alt universe.
Yes.
So
okay,
they
okay.
like found a weird in between for this for some reason.
I think that's
It was
right
a lot.
because in
It was a lot.
so him as a character, Chris Pratt, by the way, before he became
Uh-huh.
crazy, he was like kind of like this like radical communist Earth guy who Summer meets at Brown, and his name's Che, I guess. But his like alt Hollister version of himself is Chester.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
It's a lot. The synopsis has to do a lot because this episode has to do a lot. But let's talk a little bit about who made it happen. It was written by J.J. Philbin and John Stevens. Stevens wrote and produced 32 episodes of The OC and also worked on Gilmore Girls, Gossip Girl, and Gotham. I only chose G shows for some reason, but there were a lot of other credits there, I will tell you. But Philbin, this was a blast for me. Philbin worked on Mad TV, SNL, Dead Like Me, and most recently wrote for Only Murders in the Building. When working on SNL, she met her now husband, Michael Schur.
what?
I know. I
Gag.
know. And alongside the OC creator Josh Schwartz, Philbin was responsible for working with a Turkish writer, Bruku Grogan, to adapt the series The OC into 77 episodes of a show called Medizisur, which means ebb and tide, which was drastically more successful per, like viewing audience than the American version.
Incredible.
Whoa.
International diva.
Yes. International.
I do.
Also, Ebb and Tide sounds like if this show was a daytime soap opera, that would be the title of it.
Yeah. I also
And I will tell you, I watched a couple of these. It is the Ryan Murphy is turned up to 11
Wow.
in like the first couple episodes, and it took the actual OC season 4 to get there.
I do want to give a quick shout out to Dead Like Me. Wonderful show. I have forgotten about it, but you said it, and I was like, oh wait, that show bangs.
Yeah, it's very good. Very good.
It was a canceled too soon sort of situation, right?
Yeah.
Dead Like Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did not last very long. And they did a movie wrap up afterwards, if I remember correctly, I think, right?
I think that sounds right.
Yeah. That too.
Yeah.
And then this episode was directed by Ian Toyton. He was a prolific English director, English meaning like from England, with a pretty deep set of credits. He did 23 episodes of the OC, and has a very long stint as director and executive producer for a ton of episodes of Bones.
Huh.
Oh, so
money,
collecting those residual checks forever, probably.
Absolutely.
But also there was a lot of Shakespeare stuff in the middle, and I was like, go be with your home country. Don't take Bones away from us. That's an American export.
American jobs taken away.
Only we can pit an FBI agent played by David Boreanaz with a Deschanel sister who is a lab assistant for the Smithsonian. I think.
Normal, normal thing.
Normal show. So the gimmick of this episode, it is July. So of course we're doing Christmas in July. The OC's version of a holiday episode is Chrismukk-Huh, which is it's a fun idea. It's established way back in the first season, because Seth, who's Adam Brody's character, has mixed faith parents. His father's Jewish, mother's Protestant. So he claims to have created Chrismukk-Huh when he was 6 to merge these winter celebrations together for his family. And so the OC ends up doing these Chrismukk-Huh episodes every season. And I think that concept is one of those things that I think culturally people do remember from the OC, because it was so distinct of the show.
Yeah. You know, Louie, you know a lot more about the OC than Derek and I ever could, but 4 Chrismukk-Huh episodes aired. This one, would it rank 4th on your list of the 4?
You know, I don't think so. I mean, season 3 was rough. You can tell Marissa, like Misha Barton, was like not into it. I think, you know, I really like Autumn Reeser and Taylor. I think she's funny. I think she's like exactly the girly that Ryan needs. And so I like her kind of persistent, you know, kind of precision. I also think her character is like kind of, in this episode, it's like, God, her mom's fucking horrible to her. Like, not just like mean, but like doesn't care if she lives or dies, you know, and she's so earnest, you know. She's like, well, I'm here, I'm giving you the gift, I'm doing the thing. So all that to say, I quite like Taylor, and so for that reason, I think this is more middle of the pack. I think the first episode, or the first Chrismukk-Huh, is, you know, can't be beat. I believe there's an episode where Sandy's mother comes to town and they have like Chrismukk-Huh with her. I don't remember the other one, but yeah, so I think this is pretty decent. It's really silly and light, but I think it's kind of like Josh and the creators being like, okay, fans who are still here, we're gonna move on from Marissa together. Let's do this.
Yeah. So, like, my understanding of like kind of the narrative arc of like the show, like in the meta sense, kind of the arc of the show to people, is that like season 1 really good, season 2 like maybe drop off, but only because they sort of burned through so much story in season 1 that season 2 couldn't live up to it. And then season 3 is like the true dark period where everyone's like, this is too fucking much. And it is like too dark and too tragic, and it ends with the death of your main love interest and shit. And so it makes correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that's kind of the arc of it. So this season, it makes sense to be like, what if things are kind of fun and funny again?
I think they also, I think they were also struggling because the kids graduated. They graduated from school. So like, we have, and I at least applaud them for like, Summer is going to Brown. Like, we're not going to try and like figure out like how to shoehorn her to stay in the OC. Like, she's going to Brown, you know, and we're just going to have to make it work in this context. And like, what would happen if Seth, you know, his whole purpose in life was Summer, and like, she's going to fucking choose herself. And so what is he going to do? Is he going to fucking man up, or is he going to be sat at home? And like, that's at least interesting to me. And so, yeah, I think this was like a big course correction. But definitely a struggle to kind of like, because like you said, they had burned through so much story. Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. I've always had the sort of been of the mind And, you know, I feel like this could be a more well thought out thesis, but like high school shows in their transition to college have always struggled in some way because you either have to drastically reinvent the show or you keep it like you go through convoluted reasons to keep all the high school friends together that should have gone off to different colleges. Or I think, honestly, a lot of times what the most successful versions are is they split the difference and either skip over college or they just like don't do college stories at all and just pretend they're adults and stuff. In this show, it is interesting that they seem to like attack that kind of head on and realistically of like, yeah, they're not everyone's going to be just hanging out all the time at the same place because they are literally not in high school anymore.
Yeah.
And it's challenging to write that, but I think it could lend to more interesting stories. And I think, you know, this episode kind of lends to that a little bit.
Yeah, it does kind of split the difference, and I like that. I mean, I did have fun with this episode, but as we're going to discuss here, this was sort of It's a Wonderful Life homage, parody, use
kind
of style, kind of.
I think the show, one of the reasons why I think the show was so successful is because the show and its creators were obsessed with pop culture. Like there's references on references on references, you know, like jokes about movies, like they fucking do the Spider-Man kiss. Hello? Like,
yeah,
I remember that. Oh my God. That unlocked
Wild.
a part of my brain that I have not used in so long.
So,
Louie.
so this makes sense that they would do this kind of homage to kind of like, how do we wrap up, you know, and why are our lives better even through this pain and tragedy, and the things that we were able to give to each other type of thing. It's a little schmaltzy, but like, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I think you could totally read Taylor as an angel walking our poor boy Ryan through all the things that went different because he never made it to the OC.
Yes. Well, because she like immediately clocks once she like we don't see her for a little bit in the alt universe.
Mm-hmm.
She shows up and she's like, "Hello, obviously this is what's happening.
We have to fix something."
Yeah. I think, you know, we'll talk about it as we go through the episode, but I do think it is a really interesting choice because there is a darker version of this episode that's more somber, that is just Ryan confronting like what it would have been like if he wasn't in the television series The OC.
Yeah.
And like, you know, that I think it could be plunging into the depths of his character and stuff like that. But simply by having this other person there who like, there's really not really any reason for Taylor to be part of the story. It really ultimately is Ryan's story. She just kind of just happens to be there and then they can like forward their romance a little bit. But her presence there suddenly lightens up everything. Like you said, you kind of have the angel guiding him through this and giving him feedback, letting him have someone to talk to. So suddenly it's less lonely and it's more fun. And she gets to have her own little like spy story where she's following people and stuff like that. Like it lightens it up substantially. And I think that was like an important distinction to be like, we're not out to take this episode very seriously, intentionally so.
And you definitely need it because otherwise then alt reality is too dark and you've got real reality where mom's like, "Oh no, my ham," which I think was discord enough for me to be like, stop.
Yeah,
Your adopted son is in a unexplained coma and you're worried about the ham, my girl.
Yeah. I will say, and we'll get to it, I do think the story is about Ryan and Marissa, but I do think also like, I think it is about Taylor as well. I do think like, they needed to like, we needed to fall in love with her. Ryan needed to fall in love with her and we needed to fall in love with her. Why is she, why is she the way she is? Because for a while she was like the annoying girl that was like the stick up her ass, you know, very type A. And so learning more about her mom and her relationship to her mom and kind of like smoothing the edges of, you know, maybe her pricklier side was really important, I think, to Ryan as a character to kind of be like, you know what, it's okay for me to actually like her and maybe she is good for me. And then also for us to kind of like her too.
Well, that's exactly what you said at the top, Louie, which is that like this episode has to do double duty for Taylor. It has to put Marissa to bed for the audience and for Ryan so that we can fall in love with Taylor.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do step A, there's always going to be people who are hanging on to this original pairing.
Makes sense. What an interesting way to go about it.
What a joy. Wow.
California, here we come, right back where we started from. California. Here we come.
open at the Cohen McMansion. Ryan is outside hanging Christmas lights, and his adopted mother, Kirsten, reminds him that the lights are important for his brother, Seth, that he loves Chrismukk-Huh. So thank you for doing it. Again, it gives me everything that I need as someone who has not watched this in forever. So great job. Great job, TV. He needs to finish before the storm comes in. There's a storm coming in. And Kirsten also asks if Ryan plans to bring Taylor to Chrismukk-Huh dinner. Ryan notices an envelope that has been sent by Marissa that was addressed to him that only just arrived.
Yeah.
I just have to say, I think the prop department did a banger job of this envelope, because they make it very clear all over. It's written like return to sender, not address, do not deliver, undeliverable, like on the back and the front, all over this damn envelope, making it very clear. Like this is why it took so long, everyone. It was just delivered everywhere. But
yeah. The mail is so crazy.
Wow, mail. Can you believe? Just true. I was surprised we didn't see like a postmark from Abu Dhabi or something.
Yeah.
This was like one stamp away from being a Garfield joke.
The story of this letter traveling the world, passing through the hands of so many different people, like that could be its own movie, honestly.
Yeah. And this is again where I was like, Marissa, who was this? And so I originally put a note in being like, ask Louie, figure it out later. And then I was like, oh, I need to.
You really need to know who Marissa is. Yes.
It's a big deal.
Yeah,
It was a
it's
big
pretty
deal.
important.
Couldn't wait.
We also, speaking of Marissa, her family, we see some of Caitlin and her mother, Julie, decorating for Christmas. Apparently they're going to be visiting their family in Riverside, which Caitlin describes as, quote, the ghetto. Yikes.
Can't believe we're spending Christmas in the ghetto.
It's not the ghetto. It's Riverside. And it's where our family is from.
I thought we were in denial about that.
Caitlin, in case you hadn't noticed, we're a little short on family these days. I think we should take all we can get.
Oh, God. Now it's caroling.
Happy holidays.
Hello. Is that a gift from me? Because I forgot to get you one.
No, this is for Ryan. I got him a George Foreman grill because he likes lean meat, obviously.
I don't know anything about that area, so I don't know what they're referring to at all.
It's the Inland Empire of California. I mean, like
Gotcha.
The reference there is that like the more inland you live into California, you're not on the beach, and so it's like.
Okay.
And Julie's whole story is that she was a girl from the wrong side of the tracks, and she married rich because she's ruthless, and she's gonna make her life as good as possible. And I think in the context of the show, this is around the time where she's kind of running out of options. The money is going away, and so they don't have the mansion that they used to have. And so they're like, yeah, like all we got to do now is like go back to Riverside with our old family, and we're kind of poor now.
Yeah. I don't know if either of you ever watched the CW show Nikita, like the Nikita remake, but Melinda Clarke, who plays Julie, is in that show, and she's like a main villain throughout it. Ooh. And she's really, really fun in that show. Because that show kind of lets her play campy villain.
Oh, yes.
I like her in this too, and I think that I do like her alt reality persona a lot too.
Me too.
I think she can play kind of bad bitch.
Yes.
When she wants to, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will tell you, as someone who's spent a lot of time in the area, Riverside's getting a bad rap here, and I will be here to defend Riverside.
Oh.
Nothing wrong with Riverside.
I'll take your
Everyone
word for it.
From the OC to Riverside, you're still using the John Wayne Airport, so calm down.
Unfortunately, everything I know about California comes from the OC. Unfortunately, California location. So
it's exactly like that. It's all exactly like that.
Wow. Wow. This at least was shot in California, Derek. So you're not thinking that all you know about California is from Vancouver.
Yeah. So rare to have a television series shot in California. I've never seen California on TV before. Interesting.
It's like a little known place.
That's fair.
This is the scene where we also meet Taylor, who is full of cheer. She has a present she's going to give to Ryan because she is intending to have dinner over there. But of course, she hasn't been invited yet. But she expects that she definitely will be, which is a fun direct contrast to the scene we just saw.
Yeah. It's Taylor is wonderful. I think that maybe the show is trying to make me a little annoyed at Taylor, but I refuse to be. She's incredible. Queer icon. Loved her.
Also, for context, her relationship with her mother is so strained she's living with Julie and Caitlin, because I think also like they needed help with paying the rent, and her mom was never around, and so like they're really kind of setting up all of the kind of like struggles of like where we're at with these people.
Yeah. Well, it's smart too, because it's like then they can honestly like play up even more like, yeah, we know that she's kind of a Marissa replacement. We're even like having her live in Marissa's house with Marissa's family, but you know, we're putting that in front of you so we can deal with that. And so you can even more clearly see how different she is from the last girlfriend who died.
Yeah. But we're even getting an idea of how terrible her mom is too, right at the beginning, because her mom's going to Cabo, but she is already like hating the vacation because she hates Mexican food. So like unrelatable character.
What the hell?
We later find out she's going with like literally a 19-year-old. Like it looks like the twinkiest twink that ever twanked. I was like, I mean, cougars, I guess that was like still a big thing in that era.
Speaking of food, I have this note, and it's like a random cutaway thing, so I don't even know where it is in this opening. But there's a bit when like Kirsten's like unraveling the ham she's gonna cook, and she's like, is this a Virginia ham? And I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm from Virginia, honey. That is not a Virginia ham. That thing is like glazed all to hell. I don't know what I'm looking at, but no Virginia ham has ever looked like that, whatever that is.
Derek, the whole prop budget went into that envelope. We can't afford any other props.
Yeah. I don't know what that bit was. I think the joke is...
It's so weird.
I think the joke is that Kirsten famously is a bad cook.
Oh, okay.
So that's the only thing I can think about. Yeah.
That helps.
I guess that makes sense. So maybe it's just a burned ham. I don't know. I guess that could make sense.
Oh, my goodness. Well, we do find ourselves back at the Cohen house. We're outside. Ryan is skulking over this letter from Marissa. When Taylor comes over, he is cold towards her and continues to hang the Christmas lights. She invites herself to dinner, but Ryan straight out rejects her and says, we're not ready. It's going to mean something. It was this whole like, we're not there yet situation. That was kind of, I don't know, a nice little drama between the two of them.
Yeah, he's nervous, and Kirsten has talked to him about this, like, oh, you're nervous if she comes over for Christmas dinner, it means that you're boyfriend and girlfriend, and he's not ready to commit to that yet.
Right, because of the feelings for Marissa.
The lingering feelings.
So juicy. Juicy.
Why would that hurt my feelings? Just because I spent time and money getting you the perfect gift, which, by the way, happens to be the deluxe version of the George Foreman grill, and in return you give me a hot, steaming pile of rejection. Well, you know, I think that's just fine because I'm used to it, okay? So here it is. Grill away.
Taylor, I don't want this.
No, I took your gift, the holiday-themed rejection, so you should take it.
No, you take it.
I bought it for you.
You take it.
It's yours. Right?
Well, Taylor's hurt, so she climbs up the ladder next to him. You never go to the top rungs of the ladder, both of you. No ladder safety in this group, and ladders aren't meant for two people. So was I the only one raised on a farm? Get your lives together. They squabble over their present, and then, of course, they fall off the ladder because that's what happens when you don't follow ladder safety etiquette. But they seem to be totally fine because they just wake up from a light daze, and Ryan goes into the pool house, but then doesn't recognize it at all, bumps into Kirsten. She doesn't recognize him. We are in the dream world.
Well, if it's no longer rainy outside. It's sunny.
Yeah.
That's how we know. Yeah, looks like a little...
God, Louie, you are so much smarter than I am, because I was like, what is this long shot on the sun? I get it. It's California. Stop rubbing it in.
Well, because for Chrismukk-Huh, it was going to be rainy.
God,
and now...
Louie.
Also, I got to say, I was so terrified when Taylor is up there raw dogging that ladder with like no hands on, because she's holding her that giant present, insisting he takes it. And I was like, the fall, I mean, they're on the fucking roof and they both fucking fall all the way down. I was like, this is so fucking scary. But yeah.
Her present is like the latest edition of the George Foreman grill.
Because
I loved how 2000s that was. That was perfect.
Because he likes his lean meats.
Well, obviously, I think I remember her saying as well.
Obviously.
Again, I can't love her anymore.
Also, it's just such a 2005 thing. Like, does anyone have or use a George Foreman grill?
I don't know.
These days, I don't know.
No.
Dave, can you even get one?
No, but you know when I had one? 2006. So
exactly.
Like,
Absolutely.
This
Use
like
the shit
right
out
on.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it burned me and I never used it again because I was scared of it. That was a user error thing. I was real Kirsten in the kitchen, I guess, is the deal.
Cool. So yeah, so we're through the looking glass now. So we kind of basically just get this little sequence of Ryan interacting with every character and learning that they don't recognize him and seeing where they are. So, in contrast to where they're at by this point in the show, Kirsten is now high stressed and uncaring. She's setting up for a party. Julie's at a press conference for her philanthropy. Sorry, that moment is so funny because she's like looking over to Ryan and like thinks that he's like a poor street urchin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, with that hair,
I know.
Like, would a poor street urchin style his hair like that? Like, what are you talking about?
The sign behind her says, "Even homeless people have Christmas."
It's
just great.
It's
great.
like camp. It's so funny.
It is high camp.
Yeah, the guy who plays just like the random unhoused person by her ends up being in Chuck, which is another Josh Schwartz show, as Jeff, the Jeff of Jeffster from that pairing from that show. Interestingly,
that's kind of cool.
Seeing him in a bit role here was kind of fun.
Well, we've got to go visit Nerd Alert Seth, who runs this comic book store and is being bullied by these two mophead teenagers.
Oh my God.
And I just, for the life of me, again, I was like, oh my God, we truly are, like, this is Glee without music. I had no other words for it in this moment.
You guys, come on.
You guys, come on.
Would you give me back? Would you give me back my wallet?
Would you give me back my wallet?
Seriously.
Seriously.
Hey, give me that.
Is this your boyfriend? You guys should get a room.
Yeah. So you can make love in it.
I'd make love to ladies. Hey, man, thanks. Do I know you from Brown? You go to Brown? Yeah. Who are you? You don't know me either? I can't believe this.
I believe those two mop-headed kids are the younger brothers of the original guy who says, "Welcome to the OC, bitch." And I believe those two mop-headed kids are always vying for the affection of Caitlin. Like they want to, like, they're kind of like the younger, trio of the group. But I have to say, I think Adam Brody phoned in this entire episode. He's like, "Guys, give me my wallet back." Like, it's so weird, his characterization of like this. I guess the whole point is that he's pathetic. I don't know.
Yeah, but it just could have used a little bit more direction.
Yes.
I think our Shakespearean director was like, that's fine.
Yeah.
It feels like, I mean, because especially when you watch the pilot alongside this episode, like, because I think the idea is that, like, he just never grew beyond who he was at the beginning before Ryan came, right? Like, he was very closed off in the pilot and stuff and very nerdy and like and got like beat up at the end of the episode and everything, but like there was nuance to that early performance, and I would be interested to see like that character 4 years later, what it would be like. But he kind of just has regressed and is playing him like he's a 15-year-old nerd, with no nuance at all.
Old Seth would have been making quips and just like reading them to filth, and at least been like, "I'm smarter than you." Like, but this is just like none of that's even there. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, I was reading that, like, because it's the narrative of the show is so interesting, and like kind of by the end of it, Adam Brody was one of the actors who was just kind of like done with the show, and I think they were like, yeah, we kind of made him do pot a lot because he was already so bored on set anyway that like then he wouldn't even have to act, and I feel like you kind of can see that here, that he's just like not even really interested in playing what could be an interesting character swerve for him.
But then we finally get to a point where Ryan has found Sandy, and Sandy is the mayor of the town in this universe. Ryan tries to convince him of what's happening, but Sandy interprets him as a stalker. He's escorted out by security, and in voiceover, we hear Kirsty calling to him. We shift to the hospital and we see Ryan and Taylor in comas, but back in the alternative universe, Taylor finally bumps into Ryan and they recognize each other.
The Schwarzenegger Photoshop with Sandy shaking hands with Schwarzenegger, the Governor, is so fucking funny. It's so silly.
It is incredible. I loved it, and I howled when I saw it because I forgot everything about Arnold Schwarzenegger as the governor of California, even though he has done that for almost as long as he has been acting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. The other thing that made me scream here was The doctor says there's no serious injury. We just have to wait for them to wake up.
Oh my God.
What happened? Taylor and Ryan, they were hanging decorations, and I guess the ladder fell.
What did the doctor say?
Well, they said apparently there's no serious injury. We just have to wait for them to wake up.
Genuinely, the way how half-assed it is my favorite part of this episode, because it is so unserious. It is just like, y'all fucking watch TV before. They're in a coma. It doesn't matter. Right. You know they're gonna wake up at the end. We're not even gonna try to pretend that there's a brain injury. Yeah. Everyone's gonna outright state, like, the way that they explain it is just like, I don't know. They don't even say that they hit their heads. It's just like, they fell and now they're asleep and they're dreaming. Get familiar sounds and smells are going to help them wake up. But first they have some stuff they have to deal with in their dreams to, give them some character development, and then they'll wake up. It's like they don't even try. It's so fucking funny.
I was like, oh, so nothing's wrong with them, and yet we're keeping 2 beds in the ICU, like just locked up. The OC hospitals are easy breezy, babe. It's Chrismukk-Huh. Like nothing's happening. It's fine.
But Louie, there's nothing touching them. They're not even like wearing a monitor.
Nope.
It's a sleeping beauty. Yep. It's all right. Yes. Just talk to them until they wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Find Chris Pratt and make him kiss them and wake them up or something.
Mm-hmm.
God. Oh no, but I loved it. Again, at first I was like, oh, this is serious. And like, why don't they care that anyone's in a coma? And then I think when it clicked for me that this is all just goofy fun time, I was so in it. I was so in it.
Yeah. At a certain point, like, it's just kind of camp. Like, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back in the alt world, Ryan and Taylor, they're reunited. And, this is when we get the very meta self-aware, like, we know we're in an alt universe coma dream, It's a Wonderful Life type of episode. Like, I love that how quickly they clock it, because it's just like the audience is savvy enough. They don't have to deal with that bullshit, because now you can get to the fun of it once it's like, Ryan, obviously you never entered the television series, the OC, in the pilot episode, and this is what's different from there. And also, I guess I'm not here for some reason. And like, that's where it is. That's just, and we've got the stakes. Everybody knows. They're like, I guess we have to fix something. Everyone's in the wrong relationship, so I guess we just have to fix everyone's relationships.
Right.
There you go.
Right. And it's all because Taylor says she went through a sci-fi phase in middle school, and that's how she knows. And I'm like, yes, girl.
This is also a story you couldn't tell today, because it's almost like this unique quirk of Taylor to know what a multiverse is.
Yeah.
And today
everyone knows.
You can't escape it. So it's so cool. Yeah. This was so cool. Well done, OC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trailblazing in the multiverse storytelling.
Trailblazing. Referencing the multiverse. It's this in Big Bang Theory. They were working. I love it.
Oh boy. Sure.
Is this where we meet Summer and Chester and them?
It sure is. It sure is.
Okay, God.
Oh my God.
Let me see the hardware.
What? You mean this whole thing?
Oh my God.
4K?
Oh my God, it's so pretty.
Can I get a ice, baby?
Ding, 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 ding. Ice, baby.
Hey, babe!
Oh, Summer is a mindless bimbo.
Get it started, Newport! Woo! I'm so excited.
So, where's the groom?
Oh, you know him. He's parking. He won't let any of the valets touch his Hummer.
Right.
That's my job, bitch!
Right?
Hey, Holly. Looking ripped.
Hey, Chester.
What's up, Mrs. Me?
That's me.
Okay, wait a second. I thought you said she was marrying Seth. That's Che, or Chester, I guess, in alt reality.
What is he doing here? I thought he goes to Brown.
Okay. What if 3 years ago his family had planned to move here, but you did instead, taking the last spot at Harbor? So, without quality education for their child, his family moves to Connecticut. But in a world where you don't exist, the Harbor spot was open, so his family moves here, thereby allowing Che to fulfill his alt destiny as a Newport bobblehead. Well, obviously this is what we've been sent here to fix.
I feel like Rachel Bilson maybe is like the MVP of this episode, because she is so clearly having so much fun. She's having so much fun.
Also, though, I think, to David's point, like, they gave like one note and they said, just be kind of like, the worst version of Summer ever. The performance is very just like, she's stupid. She never like, there are no thoughts up there. Just like, hi, bitch. Like, let's get wasted. Let's, like, my boyfriend's so hot. What do you like? She's she's a dumbass, the worst kind of dumbass.
Yeah, that's the one. That's another thing that's like when you watch the pilot right before watching this one, it's funny because like even she's not in the pilot that much, but like there's still clearly more nuance there than there is in this version of her. Which, you know, I mean, I guess if you're just interpreting all of this as just intentionally very cartoony and 2-dimensional.
Sure.
It's fine. It's just interesting to compare the two. But unlike Adam Brody, at least she's like seems to be relishing in playing a cartoon character version of her character.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, it's wonderful because it is so goofy, the way that she's like just being mindless with her buddy Holly. When Che comes in, this is our Chris Pratt jump scare. I literally text Louie and was like, oh my God, I had no idea. I either forgot about this in season 4, never saw it. I don't know. He's a regular now. That was also surprising information. But awesome. Great. Good for him, I guess.
We also learned pretty quickly that he's kind of like a sex monster, right? Like he just rawr. He loves
the rars. Every rar is perfect.
A lot of
that's
rars.
where all the directing went.
Yeah.
Louie, it's so great. It's so great. Well, we are back in the real world real quickly because the doctor is telling the family there's no brain damage, no cause for alarm.
It's so stupid. Everything's fine. They're just asleep. Everything is fine. They are just asleep.
Just asleep.
Just let them sleep this off.
Derek, this happens at hospitals all the time. We don't try to figure out why someone's not conscious. Why would we?
Imagine the hospital bill, because insurance ain't covering I just had a little nap stay in the ICU. Like,
no, if it got coded correctly for character development, your insurance will pay for that. Like, you just got to make sure that the charge nurse codes the stay.
What's the diagnosis code for character arc? Comatose character arc.
Look up that ICD-11 or whatever we're at now. Summer does volunteer to go tell Taylor's mom that her daughter's in the hospital, and everyone is like, she won't care.
Yeah.
So God bless Summer, because again, she is like, no, it's important. I will find her. I am like CSI OCing this. Like, I'm gonna find this woman and tell her that her daughter's in the hospital. It's beautiful. And then in the end, she doesn't be the one who tells the news. So whatever. And this is where Kirsten remembers that the ham is still in the oven. But Sandy says, you know what? These two are locked in a coma dream of character development. We should bring Chrismukk-Huh to them. So they're going to bring the food and festivity to the hospital. Another thing you're not allowed to do.
He'll wake up soon, I'm sure.
Is there anything we can do to help?
Talk to them. Make sure they're surrounded by familiar voices, music, even smells. Anything that you think might stimulate them.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, somebody should find Taylor's mom. I guess I'll do that.
Look at you signing up for the suicide mission.
Oh, my ham. I have to go home and turn off the oven.
No, Seth and I'll take care of the ham. In fact, she just said we should surround them with familiar sounds and smells. So I say we bring Chrismukk-Huh to the hospital.
That's a great idea. And I'll look after Taylor and Ryan. And you be careful with my ham.
The nurses are like, yeah, that'll help. Like,
yeah. Oh my God.
Sure.
Yeah. You have a burnt ham? Oh, why didn't you tell us?
Bring her.
Yeah. As long as you bring enough for the nurses.
That's true.
So back in the alt world, Taylor's doing a little spy stuff, spying on Che, who is taking a booty call from someone who is not Summer, clearly. And also Ryan returns to the Cohen house and discovers that Kirsten is married to Jimmy, who was Marissa's dad and who hasn't been on the show for a while at this point, I believe.
Yes. They ran out of things for him to do, frankly. Like once Marissa was gone, Julie was like the source of the drama and good storytelling. Because Jimmy also in the show, like they used to date Kirsten, but I think they were like, we're very much like, we're not going to have Kirsten and Sandy cheating on each other. That's not going to be a story. So Jimmy had to go. But also I think they gave him a very lovely like send off. He like is boating because he hated the OC world. It was too much of like the hustle and like being a rich like just a fuckhead. So but seeing him back was kind of nice.
Yeah. He looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of I don't think we're supposed to like him, but it was kind of nice to see him.
Yeah. Well, and you know, and that's like episodes like this are a perfect opportunity to bring back a character without having to necessarily like bring back a former cast member without having to necessarily undo the departure of that character. Cause it's not like they don't have to find a reason to bring him back. It's just, we're in an alternate universe where he never left, you know? Right. And if they wanted to have a Misha Barton, you know, appearance in this episode, they probably wouldn't have been able to get her back for it if they wanted to, but if they could have, I'm sure that they would have, and this would have been the perfect opportunity to do it. Like, you can do that kind of stuff in these types of episodes. We also, we do see the result of Taylor's little stalking escapade, where it turns out that Shay is going to the home that Sandy shares with Julie, and the one for the booty call is Julie herself. So
I love the gag of like, bye, honey. And then like your fuck buddy is like right outside, and she's like,
oh my God,
come on over, baby.
it's so funny. It's so over the top. I love it.
So here's another one of my notes for Louie. Ask Louie, because I wasn't willing to watch all of the 4th season. Is hajoinks something that Taylor actually says on a regular basis, or is it for this episode only?
I don't recall hajoinks being a thing, because I noticed that too. They like, she says it a lot. Yeah, I don't think that's a regular thing she says. I think it's just kind of one of her little quirky, weird girl, things for this episode. I did not recall her doing hajoinks. It's so specific, not just like, I don't know. It's hajoinks. Have you guys heard hajoinks?
No, it's
Never.
like it's like the off-brand jinkies.
Yeah,
like it's wild.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what would be the normal thing to say when like, oh, it's like gasp, double gasp, triple gasp.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah,
Gasp is a good answer.
Yeah. But it is funny, and I guess if this episode is just heightened and more cartoony, then I guess she would say like a Hanna-Barbera character catchphrase that she just made up for herself,
Yeah.
But I invite everyone to use hajoinks in your regular language. Much like Cher would encourage you to use a word, I'm going to encourage you to use a word as well.
Very good.
We're still in the art world. Inside Julie's home, Taylor observes some very kinky play between Julie and Che. She bumps into Mima, who tells her Missy Cooper is coming home from Berkeley that afternoon, and Taylor sees a picture and thinks maybe Marissa is alive in this universe. She immediately goes to find Ryan and share all that they've discovered, and Ryan doesn't care about anything that they have to fix. He wants to go find Marissa at the airport.
Yeah,
Get over it.
This scene is like a little bit tough for me because she's so clearly like, because throughout this episode, she is still being like, oh, wouldn't it be so fun if you were doing this with someone you actually like? Trying, like, kind of needling him, like, so if only you would have fucking invited me over, we wouldn't be having to do all this shit. But then she kind of like turns down and is like, listen, even if she is alive, like, it's not real. Like, and she even says, like, are you gonna try and stay here if she's alive? Like, and she's kind of having to like give up, like, okay, well, I really fucking hung up on this girl, even we're in this alt universe, like, go get her, I guess.
In this world, Marissa's alive. I was in a room and Mima said her plane lands at 3 from Berkeley. Now, it seems like everyone is going to this party at Kirsten, so I think that we can use this opportunity to reunite the Coopers and the Cohens with their rightful partners.
Taylor, can you let me out?
Why? Do you have to go to the bathroom? I haven't had to go. It seems like it's not an issue in alt
Taylor,
world.
seriously, let me out.
Are you going to the airport? Ryan, she won't even know you.
It doesn't matter.
Even if Marissa is fine in this world, which thank God she is, we need to focus on fixing what is broken because that's what's going to get us back to the real world.
But if she's alive?
And you don't want to go back.
Derek, I don't think you totally bought into the It's a Wonderful Life parody, because I think this is where it like falls apart. You're not supposed to want to not exist.
Right.
like that's the antithesis of It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because this episode kind of plays it both ways, because there's I've seen like It's a Wonderful Life parodies that like the intentional comedy of it is like, wow, everyone's life would be better if you didn't exist. Like there's a Married with Children, It's a Wonderful Life parody that I think is like the kind of top tier example of that, where like the whole joke of it is that like you literally make everyone's life worse and then he's only returns back to the real world out of spite, essentially. Like this sort of is interesting because it plays it both ways, because like you still come to the same conclusion by the end that like, yeah, you did improve everyone's life, but it is interesting to have this little dip where it's like he loves his dead girlfriend so much that he would rather not exist to be with her. despite everyone else in the world, which is sort of interesting.
Well, we have to go back to the real world because Caitlin and Julie are still planning for the trip to Riverside. There's a great little bit about them packing and being like, no, my family only drinks wine coolers. Okay, there's nothing wrong with a wine cooler. Stop dissing on this family. They are normal people.
I know. Yeah.
God, 2006, they might have had Zimas too. Oh, a better time. Summer comes in and lets them know about Taylor and Ryan's fall and that she's trying to find Veronica, who is Taylor's mom. And Julie offers to drive Summer to the airport,
where we find the twink.
Where we will find the twink.
And this will also get the bit where Kirsten learns that there is an envelope in Ryan's pocket when he fell and sees the envelope, the letter addressed from Marissa, which is an important thing because then they kind of realize maybe what the core of his character development is going to be that he's working through in his coma dream.
Yeah. And I love this nurse being like, hey, this fell out of his pocket when he was being transported here in an ambulance, but don't worry, he's just asleep. This is the third medical professional that is like, it's cool, don't worry.
Yeah.
It's so funny. They don't want you, they never want you to think that there are stakes in this episode whatsoever. It's so funny.
Yes.
But yeah, this is when Ryan goes to the airport. And we get that shot that we referenced earlier where like, it really looks like it's Marissa from, the waist down, basically.
The ankle. Yeah.
The Berkeley sweater. But it isn't Marissa. It is actually her sister, Caitlin, who's like, oh yeah, sorry. My sister died like 3 years ago. Anyway, bye.
Who are you?
I'm sorry. I thought...
Wait, you knew my sister?
I thought she was coming home from Berkeley.
No, that's me. Youngest in my freshman class. Sort of a prodigy.
What did you mean new?
She died 3 years ago.
What?
She OD'd in an alleyway in Tijuana. Wow, that's really the way I want to start my Christmas vacation.
It's wild. She's like, died 3 years ago from an overdose in Tijuana, which is a throwback to like famous episodes where they go to TJ, have really raucous nights. Marissa famously like was an alcoholic on the show, battled a lot of demons. And I don't know the exact timeline and math of this, but like it's later revealed that she got 3 more years of life than what she would have, or that she did in the real world. But it's I forgot that in this moment I was like, oh my god, are they, because they linger on a picture of actual Marissa in her room, and I was like, is this gag gonna be like really her? But no, it's not.
It's not.
It seems like Caitlin in this universe is kind of like, it's fine. Like she was a troubled woman, and I've moved on.
Yeah. She does get a little dig in. She's like, wow, a stranger asking me about my dead sister. Terrible way to start my Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, Merry Christmas. Goodbye.
Yeah. Also, is she okay? Also, is the implication that like she's doing better because Marissa is dead because she's like the youngest admit to Berkeley apparently is what she says, which is not the case in the real world. Like, is that what the implication is? Because that was a weird swerve.
I think all of the women on the show who are smart, sexy, confident, it's a woman's world, Katy Perry. I do think that they all like are the best at what they do. They all are going to like the hot top schools. They're the youngest ever. They're riding horses. They're doing everything. So I don't know like the implication of like, oh well, now she's dead, so she can like the other one can rise. I always had problems with Caitlin as a character. She kind of whereas Taylor feels like very like singular as in unique as a character. Caitlin is literally just Marissa's little sister who kind of is a bitch sometimes, I don't know.
Yeah, I can totally see that. And I feel like the real answer to all of this is like they needed to have the dramatic, he thinks it's Marissa and it's not Marissa, so they just like right around like this is why her 14-year-old sister would be going to Berkeley, whatever. But like the implications are just interesting. But I do think it speaks to what you were saying, Louie, that it's like she's not a fully formed enough character in the real world that they can have an interesting take on her in the alt world, really, because all she can be is just Marissa's little sister who's dealing with the same shit, but just like has had a sister deader for longer, I guess. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
This big reveal takes us to commercial. And when we come back, one of my favorite things that ever happens in television is the characters remind you what's going on. Taylor and Ryan are at a restaurant reviewing the stakes of the situation, and I couldn't be happier. This is incredible. I loved when TV used to do this.
Ryan, you gave her 3 more years. She got to fall in love. She got to graduate.
And she still died.
Which just means that you weren't meant to save her. So if there's any part of you that's still blaming yourself for what happened, you have to let it go. You've done so much for everybody.
Yeah, like what?
Ryan, haven't you been paying attention? You saved the Cohens. Without you, Seth is the next Unabomber. Sandy is married to Slutty McSlutterman, and Kirsten probably hasn't had an orgasm in like a year.
All right.
And if you think that I'm just gonna let you give up, you're crazy.
Taylor, is that all right?
Oh, good.
He needs to have gone to the OC. We have to fix what's going on. But in the real world, Seth has also correctly hypothesized that Taylor and Ryan are in an alternative reality and they won't wake up until they resolve whatever issue is in alt world. God bless.
I think the funniest part of this episode is that both Seths, they're like, this is absolutely what's happening. I know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
An alternate universe. The only obvious explanation. Obvious might not be the word I would use. They both got knocked out at the same time, and neither's waking up. Like Dorothy and Oz. And just like Dorothy had to go see the wizard, they've got some mission to accomplish before they can return. Like what? Anything. Could be like our world, only messed up, and they've got to reset the balance. Or could be a world ruled by giant vegetables, and they've got to topple the vegetable despot before they can come back. You had me till vegetable despot. Makes perfect sense.
We'll get to it, but when Ryan sits down alt Seth and is like, do you want the truth? Here it is. And he's like, wow, I've been waiting for this my entire life.
Right.
Yeah, so also still in alt world, Ryan and Taylor split up to kind of reunite the Cohens and save themselves, essentially. They're just being shippers.
Yeah, they're trying to get the Cohens back together, and they're trying to get Seth and Summer back together. Though that is the goal for now, I guess.
Right. And so the next couple, basically the next few scenes after this are just them kind of manipulating everyone that they're talking to with the information that they know to just feed information. But the also weird reveal to me that I still don't quite understand the thought process is that Taylor, the reason that she hasn't seen herself and doesn't exist in this world is because in this world, she's a boy.
Yeah.
Like she just says, I'm a boy.
Yeah.
And there's like nothing more beyond that other than they just have a guy playing Taylor. They really don't do anything with that otherwise. And I don't really get it.
They were like, listen, we're not going to Lindsay Lohan parent trap this. We are not. It's too confusing. We don't need to see Taylor because we don't see anyone else twice in alt world. They were like, the whole point of Ryan being there is that he never made it to the OC. And so he would not see himself. But they were like, fuck, what are we going to do with Taylor? Like, she would be here. And they were like, we're not going to have Autumn Reeser playing like an inverse of herself. And we're not going to like do some digital for technology. Like, let's just make it a boy, call it a day. Her name's Taylor. Boys are Taylor all the time. Whatever.
Yeah. I think that is kind of the weak point of the episode for me because I like and appreciate the idea of involving Taylor in this, both for the relationship, but also like we were saying earlier, it like lightens up everything when Ryan has someone to talk to about this and she gets stuff to do in it and she gets to be the sort of guardian angel, but also someone who's like less integral to the stuff than Ryan is, so she can just kind of play around a little more. But it did put them in a weird position. They were sort of like, what are we going to do with alt Taylor? I do think the easier decision would have just been like, she just like went off to college and she's just in college and literally not in the OC right now. I don't know why they made this choice because I could have seen it if it was like meant to sort of show a parallel to let her work through her feelings with her mom. But I feel like she kind of could have done that without the alternate Taylor present because her mom interacts with her and is like kind of bitchy to her anyway. So like, I don't know. I don't quite get the choice, I guess.
It's a weird choice to like, because obviously Taylor has lived with her horrible mom her entire life. But I guess the implication here is that she's from the outside seeing her mom be very horrible to her. And so it's like getting I mean, not that I think it's like the most amazing thing, but I was like, oh, you know, she's like seeing this alt version of herself, a boy being called fat and a loser by her bitch mom and is like, God, is that how mean my mom is to me all the fucking time?
Okay, you can do this.
Do what? Eat? Well, that's apparent.
Shut up! Why do you have to be so mean? Neither he nor I are remotely fat. We are smart and attractive and interesting and people like us. And we are not gonna let you make us feel bad about ourselves anymore.
No? Well, I imagine the mirror does that for you.
You bitch! Oh my God.
I this is a classic thing that happens in TV all the time where they call people who are not fat. And I was just like, in what world is Autumn Reeser, an actual literal model, and being called fat by this mom who has like filler in her face and like is a fucking cunt? Like,
yeah. It's just placeholder for you're a bad mom is to call your child fat. Like I get that. I do understand that. I've, watched a sitcom before, but I do think I think that if you wanted to spend a little bit more time on this script, this is the place to fix it, because you do need Taylor to resolve a conflict to leave Dream World. But it didn't have to be this conflict. And she also didn't need to find a lucky penny on the ground. Like there was probably a better third thing that we could have come up with.
Yeah. If anything, when they first did the reveal of like, I'm a boy, I'm in a show from like 2005, 2006, it could have gotten real transphobic real fast.
I know.
And I'm thankful that they just don't really dwell on it. And really, like, the joke is that like she's just gender swapped for some reason in this world and there's no explanation, but because there's no explanation for it, they don't dwell on it or do anything. So like it could have gotten in a way worse direction. And I'm kind of glad that it doesn't, at the very least. That's kind of the best thing that I can say about this.
Yeah. I will say in my notes of this part, I just wrote down Taylor is that girl, because she imagine if she was not there with Ryan, what Ryan would be bumbling around doing nothing, not knowing anything. I will say I think like I'm glad that Taylor has her own little storyline in here, has to figure out her own conflict, stand up for herself. I also like that she's like, yeah, Ryan, I fucking like you. And remember I pushed you off a fucking roof that time? Like, she's funny. She speaks multiple languages. She's like a musician. Yeah, I enjoy her a lot. She's a master manipulator, getting all the girls to talk to each other at this party.
So good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, all that to say, like, Ryan fucking needs Taylor, okay?
Yeah.
Well, we have to jump back to the real world real quick because Caitlin and Julie have found Veronica while leaving Summer, who took this on as her mission, in the car outside.
Veronica, you can't go to Mexico. Taylor is in the hospital. Anorexia?
No, she fell off a ladder.
No. The doctor says she'll be fine, but she's not waking up. Maybe if she heard your voice. Summer has a car outside. I'll call from Cabo. Veronica, listen. I know you're not the warm and fuzzy type, but it is Christmas Eve, and it would mean so much if you could be there. And if you get on that plane right now, I'll tell security you have a bomb.
Wow, very Jet Bauer of you.
They insist that Veronica's got to come and see her daughter, with Julie making the threat of telling security that she has a bomb.
Casual.
It's very funny. I fucking love that.
It's so great. And Louie mentioned this earlier, but this is littered with pop culture references. I love that her daughter Caitlin is like, "Oh wow, Mom, how Jack Bauer of you." A reference that even today I was like, I know who Jack Bauer is. I have it in my brain, but like, what is this saying? Oh yeah, 24.
That was timely at the time too, and on their same network.
That's synergy. That's synergy. Fuck.
Yeah,
baby.
Yeah.
I also don't, you know that thing when you go to the airport and just casually you're talking to someone in like the security line? That's a thing that happens for sure.
Oh my God. Yeah, in fucking 2006. Yeah, that was definitely happening. No, just totally casual, no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
What's funny is that this actually was a pretty well realized John Wayne Airport for security. That is what security looks like at that airport. It is like a weird single line because it's a smaller airport. It is about like rich people just slumming it in first class commercial.
It's so funny.
But yeah, here's where we get all of the hamby-pambyism here. We get the parent trap. Everyone's being fooled by our girl who's just Nancy Drew in her way into all sorts of situations. But Ryan goes up to talk to Seth because he's in charge of the Seth-Summer relationship. He tells Seth, alt-world Seth, the truth and their plans to reunite the Coens and reunite him with Summer. And alt-world Seth just accepts it and goes, that makes sense to me because I get to be with the pretty girl.
Yeah.
Fine. Whatever. It's there.
I love that like Ryan's job here is to catch Seth up on the last 3 seasons of the OC. So he can know to talk about Princess Sparkle and the Valley and all the things that Summer likes so he can like trick her into falling in love with him. LOL.
Cool. Love that.
Yeah. That's not, we're just gonna,
but it's also like every teen rom-com that's ever existed, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's kind of built on that.
But in the end, Taylor is successful in getting Sandy and Kirsten to like talk to each other again, and they're laughing and they're having a good time. And this is where she bumps into her mother and confronts the alt version of her mother and says like, you know, she stands up to her. It's great. And this act causes something to change within her. And she has a little bit of tummy trouble, and soon she's just going to poof and be gone.
I wrote down, she literally just walks away and wakes up. Sorry, I can't. Does a backward walk into the kitchen. No one follows her, so she can poof. And then Ryan's like, I'm going to go check on her, and she's gone. No shimmering effects. No, like, kind of, it's just walking backwards and out of the room, and she's gone.
But I do love, like, right before she, like, poofs away into magic, she does look at Ryan and be like, you've got to finish this episode.
Yeah.
You also have to resolve the issue that's keeping you here in Dream World. Oh no, I've got to go.
Yeah.
And then she's gone.
And when she wakes up, there are some moments at the beginning of this when he finds her, she says, I found you, which I think is very romantic. And then when she wakes up, she says, come back to me, Ryan. Oh,
yeah.
It's so soapy. It's so soapy.
It's so soapy. Yeah. I love it. I love it. And I do love, like, in both of their cases, when both of them wake up, it's like, it's just a very casual, like, woken up from a nice little nap, and everyone's just like, oh, you're awake. Like, considering they're in the fucking ICU.
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh, well, that's good.
But also, Veronica, Taylor's mom, is there, and she is so pissed. She was like, you're fine? I'm missing Cabo.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It's so funny.
Good news. Taylor's awake, and the doctor said she's going to be fine. I stay home from Cabo, and she's fine.
Hi, Mom.
And you're walking even cheese.
Veronica, your daughter is okay. You should be happy.
Oh, Julie, it's okay. I got it. Mom, why don't you go to the airport? I bet you could catch the last flight to Cabo.
Well, I guess I could still make it, but I'll probably have to fly coach.
Merry Christmas, Mom.
Taylor is that queen. She goes and like hugs her mom and is like, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Mom. I know you don't want to be here. Go have fun in Cabo. She kind of is like, these are my people. Obviously, you are not my people. Obviously, like, I don't want to fight with you, which I think is like a lesser show would have been like, you know what, Mom? Fuck you. Like,
that's what I was expecting.
Right.
Yeah. Like, but it's interesting that it's like that. I'd like that about this episode, that it's basically like what it ends up being, not to like jump all the way to the end, but like what it ends up being is that like, it's not that they remember all their experiences from their coma dream. It's more like their coma dream was just kind of like a representation of a subconscious working through their issues. And so like her dream ultimately is like, she needed to call her mom a fucking bitch. She needed to do that because that's how she felt. She needed to verbalize that and really acknowledge to herself that I think that my mom sucks, and she does. And once she's gotten past that, it's like, I don't have to have hangups over whether I should hang out with my mom or not. I know that she sucks. I'm the big person in this situation.
Yeah.
I don't really need her in my life, and I don't have to resent her for it because I know that she sucks.
Yeah.
And I don't have to prove that or anything like that. And it's not that she remembers calling her mom a bitch, or calling her mom a bitch, or that she needed to in the real world. It's just that she just had to acknowledge that she feels that way, and it's okay to feel that way, and she's right to feel that way.
Exactly.
I think that that's actually really, really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's doing a very different version of the dream story.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's kind of it's like the best type of a Freudian situation
Yeah.
where your dreams really can be just fantastical worlds where you explore.
She realizes
Yeah.
that she doesn't need her mom's acceptance, which is her big storyline before this, which is she's always trying to impress and be the perfect girl for her. And the best part about like now after this, she's not like a perfect like, you know, she has like these weird little quirks. She had her sci-fi phase. Like, you know, there's like these fun things about her.
Right.
Back in Alt-World, there's a couple loose ends that we need to tie up. It's mostly around Che. Julie and Che get busted by Jimmy. The truth comes out that they were making animal noises at each other, which is representing sex. And Seth does stand up for Summer to Che because Che's like, yeah, I can fuck whoever I want, and this girl's still going to be with me. And this was a nice redeeming moment to sort of the shitty teen part of Seth's storyline, because this standing up thing was actually very nice, even though the story is not about them. The story is about Ryan, but it's fine. I thought it was nice, at least.
My one note for this was Chris Pratt's awful hair. It's so bad. He looks so awful in this.
He does. He looks
like,
really bad.
Looks horrendous. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I need. I need a man who's a mess, Derek. I don't know what to tell you. I hate that I was into this. I feel bad about it, but it was there.
We were all red pilled into believing that like this was the like hot guy, like trucker hat, pukas, the collared shirt. Like, yeah, oh yeah,
sure,
yeah. I need a broken man, Derek. I can't have a fixed man.
Okay, I get the energy, but just cut the hair a little bit, and then I can get behind it.
Yeah,
I'm behind.
Cut his hair.
I'm behind Parks and Rec era, like Chris Pratt, 100%.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, a future knowledge of him withstanding.
No,
but
you can't use that. You can't use that.
The haircut just sucks in this so much. I hate it. I know it's very 2006, but
that's fine. I agree that
like
Parks and Rec is better because I also want a man in a cast because he's immobile. That's much better.
Oh my god, dude!
Not Phantom threading about.
Well, anyway, Ryan tells everyone that he's an alt version of them. He tells everyone how they should be. He lays it all out, and security comes and takes him to jail.
As they should. Just like, what is he doing?
Yeah, they're like, okay, diva. Time to go.
Oh my god, it's incredible.
Oh my god.
But Mayor Sandy is magnanimous. He comes and bails Ryan out of jail and says, you know, a lot of the things you said make sense. Sandy tells Ryan what happened. After Marissa died, everyone got stuck, and that's how everything ended up the way that it did. And thinking about Marissa gives Ryan an idea that maybe what he needs to do is let go of Marissa. In the real world, Julie reveals the contents of the letter Marissa needed to move on, and then sets the letter at Ryan's bedside.
I want to say that the bailing out scene is a direct reference to the pilot, I believe, where because they get into the fight, or Ryan gets into the fight at the house party, and Sandy goes and bails him out, and kind of gives him the option, like, or kind of gives him a similar talk of like, you know, you have a life here. We can do this.
Yeah.
And so it is nice. Like, I think I love Sandy and Ryan's relationship. Their father-son like bond is so wonderful and beautiful. And it's nice that it came from him to say, like, you know, the reason why we're all this way is because of Marissa. Like, things got really tough.
How'd your family fall apart?
You know, I think it all goes back to when Marissa Cooper died 3 years ago. She was Jimmy and Julie Cooper's daughter.
I knew Marissa.
Well, after she died, it was like everybody got stuck.
Didn't know how to say goodbye.
And that being the like light bulb for him to be like, oh, I'm gonna go do this other direct reference of like the classic lifeguard stand where him and Marissa used to go and like be hot and sexy together. Yeah, I thought that was a very lovely, like, kind of like bow on the end of the episode.
Yeah.
I think it's really smart because, you know, I think I mentioned it earlier, but like these types of episodes are an easy, fun way to like harken back to the early days, right? Like, be like, remember this show in season 1. Everyone's sort of like referencing or kind of playing versions of themselves that were present in the first season, right? And it's an easy way to do that. But I like that the story that they're telling like really justifies that in a nice way, where it's like the reason that a lot of this stuff is harking back to the first season is because like if everyone is stuck at a certain point, if like you can't, if grief like basically kind of keeps you restrained at a certain point, you are going to be the season 1 version of yourself before you got the character development. So it makes sense. And then that ends up reflecting on Ryan of like, I can't also be stuck. I can't be season 4 Ryan for the rest of my life. I need to be, future unmade season 5 version of Ryan. And I need to be able to get over my feelings for my dead girlfriend in order to continue evolving, or else I'm like the people in my dream right now. I think that's really elegantly done, I think, in a way that I didn't expect it to be.
That's brilliant, Derek. That is exactly what's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
God, I should have watched further on Ebb and Tide and seen what those wacky Turks got up to in season 5 of the series.
Sure.
I think that also this is our last chance to talk about how hot Peter Gallagher is, and that's all that I needed to say for a moment.
I think him and Kirsten are perfect match. Love them together so much. I think the reason why the show works on all the levels is I think the relationships between all these people are just pitch perfect. You've got a lot of like golden retriever boys and like sad emo boys, and like the girls are like not just like dumb sluts, they're also like fun and like smart. But yeah, Peter Gallagher, 100%.
Yeah. And it's time for a dark confession of mine, since you mentioned dumb sluts. Here I am. Every time somebody references the magician Gallagher, I think they're talking about Peter Gallagher.
Wow.
And that is about as different as something could be.
That's amazing.
Yep. Limited RAM. I don't know what to tell you, Derek. Limited RAM.
Yeah. The only other thing about this bit I think was kind of interesting is that I guess Ryan like magically reads the letter in his coma because it was sitting by his bedside. Like, cause I don't think he read it before he went into the coma. It seemed like he just saw the letter and like put it in his pocket. I don't think he ever read it. So he's like reading the letter from Marissa that breaks him out of this and teaches him his lesson because Kirsten put it on his nightstand next to him.
I can't remember.
He reads it in his dream.
I can't remember if in the alt world he kind of like, does he have a moment where he like is like, oh wait, what is this? Like I
think he does. I think he because he had it in his pocket when he fell
right.
And entered the alt world. So in his dream, he still got the letter.
Yeah.
So like it makes sense that he's got it, but it's just funny because if he hasn't read it in the real world, he does read it in the dream and learns the lesson from what she wrote, except he hasn't actually in reality read it yet, which does make this a little bit more magical, I think.
The true magic though is he wakes up and his hair is perfect. Baby.
Dude, okay.
Beautiful.
He wakes up, both of them wake up and look beautiful, obviously, but like, yeah, he wakes up, hair is perfect. And then like Autumn Reeser is in like this beautiful fluffy robe, that I guess you could just get from a hospital now. Like it's so funny.
No. Yeah, they get the scene of him remembering and thinking about this lost love, Marissa. He's on the beach. He lets go of her, and then he fades back into reality.
The crossfades are so funny because it makes it kind of look like he's reading the letter for like 5 hours. It just goes on for a very long time. I'm not mad about it. I think it's like nicely done. But I was just thinking, I'm sort of like, it really feels like there's a time lapse and he's reading the longest letter ever written in the history of humanity. It feels like.
But I don't know about you two. It got me. It got me, girl.
Sure,
I was starting to get like heavy in the chest, and I was like, oh no.
Wow.
Feelings in this episode.
I don't know. I will say and maybe it was just because like with this rewatch, I was so done with Marissa. I was like, and I'm so taken with Taylor. I was more invested, or I was more just like, okay, thank God he can finally like be with.
Yeah.
Don't they have when they both wake up, they're like, I think I had a dream. You were in it, and he says the same thing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh,
like
we're so fucking back.
Yeah, but it like quickly leaves their minds, and then they're surrounded by their found and extended family. And really, isn't that what the spirit of Chrismukk-Huh is all about? Fade to black credits.
Yep.
Yeah.
The end of the episode.
Yeah. It's interesting, and it does make me. I don't know. One of the things that I was thinking about is I remember. This is almost like it's like not even, it's like semi-related to this episode, I guess. But like you're talking about the Marissa, like just kind of being done with Marissa by this point, which I remember hearing people talk about that even at the time, that it's just like, oh my God, this fucking character. But I do think it's interesting that like we're a bunch of gays talking about the OC, and I remember it being a big deal that like Marissa is coming out as bisexual and everything. And I feel like that's like not a thing that anyone really cares about or talks about anymore. I don't know that speaks to if it was poorly handled or not. And like she's technically a bury your gays, I guess, because it's like she had her one little she had her fling and then died. But I don't think anyone was really mad about it, because I feel like most people remember not really liking Marissa by the end and not being very mad that she was gone off the show. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, they never gave her the space to really grow out of this really tragic character. She was constantly making bad decisions, constantly just, being kind of a wreck, even to the point where like Summer, her best friend, is like, I need to detach, babe, because I am like smart and I'm in love, and my life is while Summer's life was becoming very well rounded, Marissa's was just fucking cratering at every turn. And so I do remember that there were a lot of people who wrote into Fox who said, how dare you fucking kill Marissa? And so I think that's why they had to do this overdrive to like let us move on and introduce Taylor.
Fair.
But yeah, I there was this like, they drove that girl into the ground and then literally drove her into the ground. It's sad. It's really sad.
It's not a beacon. It's not like a beacon for queer representation.
No.
No, I think Taylor's a much better queer representation than Marissa ever was. Go Taylor. Had a sci-fi phase, positive in spite of everything, knows what a multiverse is, chooses found family over your bitch mom.
Yeah.
She's gay.
Yeah.
She's gay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I kind of love that reading.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We claim her. She's ours.
But yeah, this is a really fun episode. I like it. I'm glad I'd never seen this one before. I don't remember it happening when it was airing. So it was fun to watch it and get to experience like fun OC, and like, again, remember like, oh, this is why this show was, even though this isn't from the heyday of it, this is sort of the tail end. I do think it does harken back to why it captured the hearts of people, that it was like, it was a little bit more than your typical teen drama, because it was self-aware and could have fun with itself, and when it was at its best, wasn't necessarily overly serious with itself, which I think is really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think before we watched this and before we had this conversation, I think that my memory of the OC was that it took itself very seriously and it treated these characters like, like good people even. But when I now think back on my memory, we're watching the pilot, watching this episode, it is kind of a lefty show of like condemning the sort of rich and powerful, because they're the villain characters. Only Sandy is allowed to have money because he's a good dude. So I don't know. It's just kind of, it was kind of like eye-opening, because I truly had replaced the OC with Real Housewives of the Orange County and was like, oh, this is the fictional version of Real Housewives. And it's not, except that in an interview, the person who played Veronica was like, oh yeah, I was the original Real Housewife bitch, because that's how I played this character.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting. I do think that people probably remember it as being like Real Housewives, or they remember like the SNL which is say parody thing, and like remember those things. Although people probably don't even, I feel like at this point that's become such a meme, people don't even realize that the SNL thing was a parody of the OC.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think it's an interesting show that I feel like people probably don't remember it correctly, and maybe that's why it hasn't really stuck in pop culture in a way. But like, it isn't. I really enjoyed going back to this and going back to this era of TV and experiencing this. It is really fun, and it makes sense why this did burn so bright when it did, even if it burned fast.
And it's all on Hulu. You can watch it now. It is a very good, I think, time capsule of the middle aughts, because it was such a pop culture machine, just like regurgitating what was happening. I mean, my God, for Seth to be able to recreate the Spider-Man kiss, a wet dream. A gay nerd's wet dream, I want it.
Absolutely.
I wanted to be Seth.
Absolutely.
I wanted to be Seth. I wanted to like the music he liked. I wanted to like look like him. I wanted to dress like him. I wanted my hair to be like his. Yeah. And then of course, Ryan, I just wanted to kiss his perfect little face.
Yeah, he does have a very smoochable face. Yeah. Wow. Anything else that we didn't get a chance to talk about from this episode, which I will not try to say the name of again. I will. The Chrismukk-Huh.
I think we got everything. I will also say I think Ryan is the like beating heart of the show, and I think
Yeah.
he grounds. There's a lot of like crazy antics around him always in the show.
Yeah.
The idea that he's in this rich kind of place and is antics to him, right? He comes from like, the streets, and he probably would be homeless if it wasn't for Sandy. And I think his groundedness always kind of like helps carry the show even through all this kind of wacky doodle type stuff. And I also just think Ben McKenzie is I think he is probably one of the better of the teen actors.
Sure.
He's just, there's a lot of ridiculousness around him, and he kind of is able to clock it and be like, well, these people are ridiculous. Like, we're paying a ton of fucking money for stupid gala events, and uh, so I just want to make sure we give Ben his flowers. He's not just a pretty face, also very good.
Yeah.
Although he continues to be very handsome. I just looked up a more recent photo of him, and he has aged well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When he did Gotham, the funniest thing about it is that like he just kind of looks like he did on the OC. Like, even though that was like 15 years ago or whatever.
Wow. You say that, but I watched some episodes of Gotham and did not clock that until looking at this.
Really?
He does look. I mean, the jawline is hard to beat. He would have really had to like grow a beard to hide it. But now that I see it, I'm like, wow, how did I not see this?
Yeah. Yep.
And wow, there's a whole section on his Wikipedia about criticism to cryptocurrency. A king.
A king.
What a king.
Well, Louie, you've been our king. So where can people find more of your regal decrees on the internet and in the podcast world?
Yeah. Okay. So first and foremost, you can find me and my co-host Gavin, who is also we're part of the Glitterjaw family, folks. So you can find the mixed reviews all the places. Listen to our back catalog. Next week, I believe we're recording our 150th episode. It is a very special episode. We've been doing this 6-ish years now. And you can find me on Twitter at Louie Rendon, all the places. I'm currently unemployed, living my diva life, taking some time off, relaxing, fun in the sun. Literally, during this recording, a literal pool boy walked up these stairs to deliver groceries. I'm on Fire Island and living that fantasy. So once this wraps,
OC. This is great.
Yeah. Literally, once this wraps, I'm gonna go jump into the ocean, in a fun, sexy way. But yes,
truly just perfect for an OC podcast, like 100%.
Well, and if you've joined us for Christmas in July, the Mixed Reviews is being recognized as a nominee for the Podcast Awards, and you can nominate the Mixed Reviews under consideration of the TV and film category. It just takes a couple seconds. Go to podcastawards.com and nominate Louie and Gavin for the Mixed Reviews.
Yes, that'd be so wonderful. We love doing the show, and it's quite fun. It's weird to think about how long we've been doing it. But it's great. Thank you guys so much.
And there's no bad place to start, but you could start with Derek's episode. If you like listening to Derek's voice, it's a great place to get started.
Yeah. I love how incestuous we've all become.
Oh, yes.
Oh no. Well, Derek, if folks don't find you at the Mixed Reviews, where else can they find you online?
Yes, in addition to that Tony Collette episode of Mixed Reviews, you can find me anywhere at Derek B. Gale. You can also find my other podcasts at Walloping Web Snappers when they go host Doug, where we do deep dives into every Spider-Man cartoon ever made. And also with Doug, I do Screonk, which is a Godzilla movie marathon where we're stomping through Godzilla's filmography. And I also have Lee Carvalho's Potting Challenge, which is a podcast I do with Tommy, where we are going through the Simpsons tie-in video games chronologically, along with video game history and Simpsons history. What about you, David?
Ooh, you can find me online as DMuma. That's DMUMA. It's Tutu on Twitter, where I am most active. I do a couple other podcasts as well. One called Are You My Mother, where Louie was a guest. Came in to talk about Beverly Sutphin from Serial Mom. We had a blast. And then in a completely big shift from Louie's interests, I am part of a podcast where we watch horror films, TV shows, and play horror video games called Fear Coded. And it has been a lot of fun. My friends Marilee and Tyler are dragging me into the deep sea of horror content, and we're having a great time talking about how gay it all is.
Yeah, you are a spooky bitch, and of which one I am not.
I am not. I'm really scared of it. Louie,
you're becoming. You're
I
becoming.
know, it's happening.
Bitch,
it
David.
is happening.
You will be there eventually.
I will be a spooky bitch.
Gimmicks is a proud part of the Glitterjaw Queer Podcast Collective. If you're looking for more queer media podcasts like all of the ones that we just mentioned, check out the full roster of Glitterjaw shows at glitterjaw.com.
And if you want to support this show by giving us a little tip, you can buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/gimmickspod. You can also follow the podcast at gimmickspod on Twitter and Instagram, and email us your questions, feedback, and corrections to gimmickspodcast@gmail.com. Please rate, review, and subscribe on all podcast platforms. And until next time, friends, keep being weird.
What you say? That you only meant well, 'cause you did. What you say? That it's all for the best, 'cause it is. What you say? That it's just what we need. You decided this. What you say? What did she say? Some notes keep falling out your mouth. It's sweet talk news, people.
Welcome to the OC, bitch.